Now, I mean, I grew up a lot like Norman, really into horror movies, comic books, a little bit of a loner, outsider. And what I love about this story is I think for kids like us, the idea of something as extraordinary as this ability that he has, being what's making him an outcast as opposed to just being into really cool stuff. I mean, is that sort of part of the plan and part of the appeal of a movie like this is to empower us?
Absolutely. I think, you know, if you look at pretty much anyone who worked on this movie, they were probably, they had an artistic predilection. They probably went through school not being good at sports, maybe being bullied, you know, just not fitting in, not knowing where they fit in, and always being encouraged to do things that they didn't want to do. And I think what's true about all of us is that we grow up, we find our place, and we get to make movies for a living, where all the popular kids are doing what?
Yeah,
right.
I love
Selling
that.
insurance.
And I love that about him. His talent, you know, this thing that's meant to be his talent is, you know, strange and it makes him weird, but in the end, it's what makes him wonderful. And you know, everybody needs what he's got in the end.
Yeah.
Now, stop motion. I mean, I just spent yesterday talking about the Expendables, and talking about how much I loved seeing real stunts and real punches being thrown and real explosions, and this is kind of the equivalent for me in our world of CGI animation and everything. Just
it's like real filmmaking, you know. It's like a miniature live-action world. You know, we create a whole world, a whole believable world, and all the characters in it, and we literally shoot it. You know. We photograph it. It's real stuff, photographed, you know. So
even down like the texture of like Norman's
that's the appeal. I think that's always been the appeal of stop motion, is that you can see that it's tactile. You can see that it's something that
tangible.
You can
grab it on the screen.
Yeah, you can. And actually, the 3D helps with that because you literally feel like you could step in there with these things. But I think our philosophy was always like, this isn't some kind of historical novelty. We can maintain what's beautiful about it, which is this handmade, imperfect aesthetic, and we can pull it into the next century and use technical innovations to really push the boundaries.
And the handmade side is how you can evoke, you know, Salem witch trials, and you know, by having that sort of, you know, zombies because they're raggedy and
the zombies.
You want it to look super clean and polished.
We don't want that. That's we don't have a straight line in the whole movie, but you know, you talk about that the zombies cape. When you see that up close, it's a work of art. Not only is it a beautiful piece of costume design, it's a beautiful piece of costume design in miniature that animates.
Yeah, and the quality of the movement, you know, for a zombie, stop frame seems to be the perfect medium. You know, you look back
they're in stop motion anyway.
And you look back at those Ray Harryhausen movies, you know, and we were very inspired by him.
Yeah.
Well, the last question, real quick. I love hearing Jeff Garlin's voice in anything. How important? Well, what sort of qualities were you looking for to cast Norman? Like, what did Norman need to sound like?
He needed to be a real kid, you know, that was important, and authentic. It's a tricky
like a
one.
28-year-old woman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's supposed to that. He needed to be. He's a smart character. He's the smartest character in the film, but he couldn't be precocious. He's kind of a loner, but we didn't want him to be whiny. It was, you know, a fine balance, really.
It's appeal. What it comes down to is appeal. You have to relate to this character and be, you know, invested in his journey through the movie, so he has to be really likable.
Yeah, a real boy, you know.